Welcome to 108 Gates. We're looking at the Divine Masculine reading, and Divine Feminine reading is uploading. So the Divine Feminine reading is very different to the Masculine reading in the sense of Divine Feminine energy just feels depleted. It feels like it's pulling down. It feels like it's getting exhausted. Whereas now coming into Divine Masculine reading, it feels like there's a go-getting energy. There's a let's just do this, let's just go forward, let's just move, let's just make a change, let's just make a shift, make something different from what has been happening in the past to create a change. So that thing of I keep thinking this, or I keep doing this, or I keep getting stuck in this situation, the Divine Masculine energy is coming in. Well, then don't do the same thing. Then don't let it happen again in that same way. Let's make a shift. Let's make a change. Where are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? Let's move on. Excellent vibe. Awareness. How, where, why, what, when. I think if any of those questions brings in some kind of movement, that's what's the most important bit right now. Creating that space to allow for the shift and change to happen. That can only happen if you let go of a lot of the old stuff that's been repeat, and it's like it's clearly not working. It's clearly not where to be going or how to be doing things. Therefore, let's make a shift and change. Again, even that feels like it's having to repeat to make sure that the shift and change happens. Endurance, making sure you keep going, making sure you keep going, making sure you're showing up, making sure you're doing certain things in a particular way. If you don't do certain things in a particular way, it hasn't got that that space to gestate. It hasn't got that time to gestate. So if you think about you take a cutting from a plant and you've put it in the water or in the soil, whatever it is, and you expect it to root instantly, it can't root instantly. It needs that time to kind of climatize to where it is, and then understand that, oh, I actually need to grow roots. So the intelligence of the root, intelligence of the cutting rather, needs to tell itself, needs to recognize, I need to grow roots to be able to do what I need to do next. But these roots, like I said before in a past reading, are not tangible roots of yourself necessarily in one space, physical. It's rooting in yourself so that you are an actual entity. You are a being that is rooted within your own being, rooted within your own true, authentic, organic essence, and that you're feeling more wholesome and more connected with your authentic self. Interesting. Right, let's go. So let's get one of these first, because I've got one for the feminine reading. For some reason I want to come out now as well. So let's see what flies out again. Why are they all flying out today? Literally. Right, here we go. We all alert. Looking down on something, looking to something, and keeping an eye on it, because we don't know exactly what's happening. We don't know exactly what those figures are doing. Are they coming to help her, or are they feeling like a threat? The way she's perched there in this particular reading, regardless of if it's a threat or not, she doesn't seem like she's feeling safe. It doesn't feel like that that safety feeling is there, which makes sense, because it was that it's the same kind of feeling of like, I need the roots to grow now, I need this to happen now, I need this to happen now. And it's like you have to let certain things process, you have to let certain things happen, you have to let certain things move. You can do so much work up to a certain point, but then it might be that you have to wait for someone else to do their part. And if they're not doing their part, and they're not going to do their part, then a solution has to be found. Then it may be that you've gone in the wrong direction and you need to come back and find a new direction. Who knows? There's so many different scenarios that could be coming up right now. It's quite quite a strong energy. So this straight away is ringing true for all this energy that's in Sagittarius. So you've got 21 Sun 21 Sagittarius, Moon 27 Sagittarius, and what was the other one? Mars 13 Sagittarius. This is feeling so much in alignment with that. So you got the horses, just go, move forward. The power is there. It's now a matter of harnessing the power. It could actually be, take this as it feels. If it's not resonating, then don't hold it, because this is a powerful energy right now. It feels as though new power is coming in, new power is being known to you, new power is being revealed to you of what you have had, but you couldn't actually quite touch it. You weren't tangibly in possession of it. You didn't actually have ownership over it because it was given to someone else. This power that's coming back to you now, it needs to be reined in, it needs to be navigated, it needs some sense of responsibility to handle it correctly. Because if we haven't managed to handle this before and it was just given away, then we haven't fully grasped the power that's there, we haven't fully grasped the intensity of it, and we haven't fully grasped the value of it. So if you think about, you gave some power over here to this one, you gave some power over here to this one, some power over here to this one, some power over here to this one. That's distributed between, just for as an example, 5 different beings or 5 different projects or whatever it is. Or each of those, you find out later that it's not good for you to have given away your power to these things. Thing is, they've been feeding off your power, they've been feeding off, like siphoning your power and this, that and the other. But now, as you've cut attachment to those things and you are reclaiming your power back, it's not just the power from this one, but it's also the power from this one and this one and this one and this one coming back to you. And it's like, bam, you're going to get whacked with your own essence, with your own power. So it's like if you stretch an elastic, and then you let go of it, that power has been cut from them. It, boom, it's come back to you. This is not a bad thing. So not to be scared of it or worried about it. It's about being ready. So it's like being ready for the reverb, be ready for the comeback, be ready for the returning of yourself, be ready for the returning of your vibe, be ready for the returning of who you are. It's going to be disorientating because some of the people, some of the energies that I'm sensing here, and the way it's going to be coming back, you've given so much out that when this returns to you, you're going to be wealthy on another level. And I don't mean financially, but that could be one. I'm saying you in your essence, the purity of your essence, the ease of things happening now is going to be different. So as this power is coming back, as your essence is coming back to you, being steady, being aware, and just endure it. And what I mean by endure it is, it's going to be a lot to handle. She's done it. She's managing to like harness and manage those horses. It's the same kind of thing. You're going to have lots of power coming back to you, returning back to you, cleansed, purified. Now it's a matter of how do we integrate that in a safe manner? How do we integrate that and make sure it's actually appropriate for where you are now? Because when you were giving the power out, you were at a different age, you were in a different stage of your life possibly, you were in different phases of certain things. Now it's like, well, actually this power can be transmuted into this power can be transmuted into that. It's a fantastic energy. It's just a lot. It's a lot. And that's the divine feminine is making a lot more sense. So if you haven't checked that out yet, check that one out. 5 of Cups. 3 up, 2 down. The 2 that are down, you're going to get refilled up pretty quick. And when they do fill up, don't be surprised if you're going to need more cups. Good cups, clean cups. And there's no need to feel the lack of things. Like earlier it felt like there was a lack of understanding of what to do. There was a lack of lack of clarity of things. You can hear my words tripping up on themselves. So much vibe going through. There's a lack of clarity. There's a lack of awareness of certain things. There's a lack of confidence in certain things. There's a lack of attention to certain things. But that's okay on some level. it's being aware of why you have a lack of it, rather than getting into the frustration. If you get frustrated for not having the answers right now, that's gonna trip you up a bit. So understanding right now is quite normal for the alignments that are happening. It's quite beneficial in some ways to not exactly know all the answers, because so much is shifting and changing. So instead of locking into a conclusion, or locking into an answer, or locking into this is how it's got to be, being a bit free fall, a little bit free fall. Not much is making sense, but at the same time it's all making sense, if that makes sense. Oh, if that made sense. 24 degrees of Pisces, we have Neptune, so that's bringing up some silt as well. Two of Swords came in the Divine Feminine reading. In Divine Feminine reading, the two swords, one was going that way and one was coming this way, parallel. Here there's all that interlocking, that entanglement, the things coming together, but also there's some things that have been I want to say forged together, but they some of them shouldn't be forged together, some of them can't be forged together. And this is what I meant by earlier when I said that there's certain times where you were giving away your power, or someone was siphoning your power from you, or you were siphoning from someone else. Let's be clear and frank here. Or you were taking energy from someone else, whatever it is, I don't know, I'm not judging, I'm just saying. Seeing both sides of the sword, both edges of the sword, seeing the two swords, which way was it going? So in this one, it's like where things have been entangled with the incorrect thing, or with the incorrect posture, or with the incorrect details. That now has to be unlocked. This is where the frustration could be coming in, because for it to have been forged like that together for so long, to unlock it, to untangle it, to disentangle, to disembark from it, to get it to disembark from you, it can be quite frustrating. It can be quite a task. Wow, it's a lot. It's a lot. 9 of Swords. No, it's not 9 of Swords. 7 of Swords. 7 of Wands. Why does this always come? Right. 7 of Wands, 7 of Wands, 7 of Wands. This always comes in a lot of the time. It comes in as a sword energy. There's a lot of conflict here. There's a lot of conflict, which may not be as sharp and precise as you think. So if you think of a baton, or seeing a baseball bat, not used for the correct, not used for baseball, basically, it's a blunt object, but it's still dangerous. It can be dangerous if it's used inappropriately or incorrectly. Well, let's separate that a second. I have a feeling this is going to be a bit of a lengthy reading, so get comfortable. This is it's coming through as swords energy, like very sharp and critical and precise and to the point, but they're wands. Wands, if it was used as that kind of context, it's a blunt object. It's not sharp as in like a sword, but it's coming through as that. So the precision of the wand is more to do with where are you applying it and how are you applying it. Are you a dithering and just tapping something, or are you literally like, no? Is your action decisive? Is your action on point? Is your action actually with the intention of creating a new outcome, or is it just like stop it? But you don't say wholeheartedly, you're just saying stop it, and you're saying in a way that's like, well, if he carries on, just give me a moment respite. It's like, well, it's not a matter of moment respite, because the problem that's coming from this, the issue that's coming from this, the gnawing at your nerves that's been coming from this, needs a full stop. It needs to be just stopped. So if you have like a certain thing that's nagging, and it's like creating issues, creating problems, and it's just like you have 5 minutes peace from it, and that 5 minutes peace feels like bliss, and then before you know it, it's come back again, and it's just nagging, but you've just had 5 minute peace. Therefore, that peace is just giving you a bit of an uplift. Now it's not a matter of 5 minute peace, it's a matter of some certain things you need peace. That's it. No longer carrying on with these silly things, no longer carrying on with being pulled and shoved this way and that way. So in the past, it may have felt like you were feeling left out of positive things. You may have felt left out of actual things were beneficial for you because of having to deal with this whack constantly. It may have been energetically, it may have been financially, it may have been emotionally, it may have been from particular people, it may have been from a particular kind of things. Every time you go to work, there's somebody leaves, and then someone else comes in and they do the same thing. It's like that constant, like boom, 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 boom. This has to shift. You have to leave it. You have to leave it behind. Let it go. Ride away from it. Create a distance. Something's off, and it didn't give you a full sense of security. It gave you it gave you something to be cautious of. It gave you some reason to be like, something's not feeling quite right here, but can't put my finger on it. Don't understand. Don't get lost in that. Don't get caught up in that. Keep moving on. Keep moving on. I think that's what the point is. Don't get caught up in all these like things, but don't drop your awareness. Keep your awareness of it. Keep it in the periphery, but keep moving forward also. Mastering this is going to be amazing. King of Wands again. King of Wands was in the feminine reading. King of Wands coming in to make sure progress is occurring, progress is happening, overlooking things, overseeing things, over managing things. And I don't mean over managing as in too much. I mean managing things, overseeing things, making sure that you're keeping track of what's progressing, what needs to progress, and making sure it happens. Making sure it happens. You're going to have to start moving certain things within self, within your consciousness, to allow this new power to come back in. And it's not new power to you necessarily, it's just that it's going to feel new because you haven't had a certain period with it. For a certain period of time you've been without this power because it's been divvied up to other people, it's been divvied up into other situations, other scenarios. So for it to be coming back to you now, you're literally holding your sword, and it's going to be coming into the wand. I said it again, sword. There's something really specific about the swords and the wands, and I'm looking at I'm going to start looking at the Freudian slips. Why do we do those things? And it's not always just sexual or whatever. It's like, why do we slip up with things like that? Wands. Those two feel like pens again. Sometimes they feel like pens. Rewriting, writing, foundation. There you go. Go towards your foundation. Rewriting certain things. So you're seeing certain things in but I had to give her this, I had to do this, I had to do that, I had to do this for him. Whatever it is, they said, he said, she said, we need, they need, whatever. Rewriting it. What's happening now? I need that back. It as an example, it's like lending someone a book that's really precious to you, and you love that book, and it's like, right, I'm just lending it you, and they borrowed it, and now you need that book back. You were hoping they would bring it back, or a tool. You'd hoping they'd bring it back without being asked, and now it's like you've got to go and ask for it back. Is there a particular thing that it would be awkward to ask to have back, or a particular person that it'd be awkward to ask for to have that back from them? That's your power, that's your essence, that's your whatever. So like, I need to have it back. On some level, how are you going to get it back? Is this what it's exploring? How are you going to retrieve your energy back? You're going to have some come back automatically because of some of the work you've been doing. But as you go more and more into that, you might identify that actually I need to have that bit back too. I need to have that soul fragment back too. If you are into soul fragment work, wow, this is going to be an absolute cluster of diamonds and fragments literally can be retrieved. Your soul diamonds, your soul fragments. Wow. Okay, let's get a card for that because that was very strong. I'm going to put this up and get a second one for it because that was a really strong energy. Knight of Coins and Eight of Wands. When you start seeing that your power is coming back, when you start sensing your power is coming back, then you've got the added point of identifying where now I also need this back. I also want that back. This part's missing. Where has it gone? Does it matter where it's gone? Retrieving it back. Cleanse, purify, integrate. Then here, as you start doing this, it's going to start speeding up because then this feels like it's another aspect you're going to be mastering. Enjoy, because it's quite a phenomenal energy. Reclaim holding the reins, reclaim yourself, reclaim your power, reclaim your consciousness, reclaim your space, reclaim who you are, reclaim why you are, reclaim where you are. So I hope you enjoyed that. It's quite a vibe. It's quite a vibe. I might even come in and do another reading later on. I'm not quite sure because there's just so much going on here. It's quite an interesting vibe. So for now, check out your end of year readings and monthly readings. They're all in their individual playlists. So until later, peace and love.